You know, it was fascinating. The President H.W. Bush had just come into office, and we were all looking at the policy review, what could happen, and we were coming up with status quo plus, things that would change. And we were looking at the East Germans, thinking that they would have a party Congress, and the question of Honecker's succession would be in the issue. I came to the GDR in March of 1989 as Deputy Chief of Mission for Richard Barclay. It was actually a very interesting time. I was his candidate, and he said to me, you know, it'll be okay because it'll be the most boring place in the world. Nothing will happen. So my first image was the GDR. It was nice to be DCM, but it was going to be the most boring place in the world. But it was Berlin, and it was interesting, and I thought that'd be fun. The issues that came out of that time drove the experience. So the images that we have, the first one you have is of very little light, no street markings, and this pungent smell of brown coal. You could always smell the lignite everywhere. And in fact, at one point, we tried to prevail on the State Department to give us a compensation for that. And because one of our other agencies had a 10% differential, and the rest of the State Department did not, and that only resulted in the 10% differential being taken away from my colleagues, which didn't endear me to those people. But it was boring, drab, ugly, and yet there was something very interesting happening. And we didn't know what it was, and anyone who says that they did know what it was, they are probably making it up or saying something that they aspirationally believed. Through the summer of 1989, events began to pile up. But in August, my recollection is that the Washington Post ran an article saying that if the Soviets would intervene anywhere to protect their interests, it would be in the GDR. So we were very cautious in what we were trying to say. And yet, we met East Germans, and they would talk on the streets. They wouldn't talk in their apartments. You would walk by them, and they would stop talking. So we knew something was happening. We also knew some people from our time earlier in Washington in the late 80s who had been associated with the church.